All right. So for this one, we can actually use the square roots method because there's only an x squared. So I want to add the 36 to the other side. Then divide by 4. Square root both sides. I get x equals 6 over 2, and that's plus or minus. And that's my answer. Now for this one, a times c, you get negative 10. The factors of negative 10 that add to negative 3, well, we get 1 and 10, we get 2 and 5. So positive 2 and negative 5. So I get 2x squared plus 2x minus 5x minus 5 equals 0. Factor out 2x, so you get x plus 1. Factor out a negative 5, so you get x plus 1. Remember, when you factor out a value, it's as if you're dividing by it. And so set each one equal to 0, so we can use the zero product principle. Now it's always a good idea to remember to check to factor first, because add 5, divide by 2, because factoring is a little quicker. Remember, we want it to equal 0, want it to equal 0. I can add 10. So 2m squared minus 7m minus 3 equals 0. A times c, negative 6. Factors of negative 6 add to negative 7. So negative b plus or minus, right? So my a is 2, my b is negative 7, my c is negative 3. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So we just want to reduce that. So 7 plus or minus the square root of 49. And then a negative negative is a positive, so plus 8 times 3, which is 24. And so this is actually going to be our answer. Now, I originally thought it was going to factor. But if you look at when I go to try and factor it, those values inside aren't equal. So it actually doesn't factor. And the fact that I got this like square root kind of proves it. And then I needed the negative 6, but to get negative 6, this would have been a positive. So technically there would have been no factors. So it says, write in standard form. So remember, we want to group the x's together. Save a space. We group the y's together. We can bring that over because our standard form for a circle is that. So that's going to equal negative 88. B over 2 squared. So it's negative 7 squared, which is plus 49. We're going to subtract it from both. And then this will always factor. A times c, 49. Factors of 49 that add to negative 14 is negative 7 and negative 7. So that's negative 7 squared. And then now for this one, b over 2 squared. That's 8 squared. That's 64. So we're going to add and subtract the 64. Again, this always factors. A times c, 64. Factors of 64 that add to 16 is 8 and 8. So y plus 8. And then you get the minus 64. So now I want to add the 49 to both sides. Add the 64 to both sides. So I'm going to get x minus 7 squared plus y plus 8 squared equals, and then we enter that in our calculator. You get 25, and that's your answer. So determine if it's a function. Remember, we need to see a plus or minus. There's no plus or minus, so yes. If I divide by y, or x cubed, get y by itself. There's no plus or minus, so then yes. And then for this one, eventually, I subtract x squared on both sides because I have to take the square root. Now I get the plus or minus, and so therefore It's not a function.